Department. And joining us now is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel and Victory News contributor Vanessa Hicks Calloway. Welcome back to Victory News. Colonel, listen to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth explain the change in thinking at the Pentagon when it comes to the U.S. military budget.
It used to be that if you called for an audit, somehow you were undermining the department. I believe the exact opposite. I believe we are accountable for every dollar we spend, and every dollar of waste we find or redundancy is a dollar we can invest somewhere else, as President Trump has committed directly to rebuilding our nation's military.
Colonel, I know it's early in his service, but what is your reaction, Defense Secretary Hegseth's course resetting the U.S. military, at least so far?
Thank you, Mike. It's always an honor to be back here on Victory Channel News. And as far as my comments as relates to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, I believe he's absolutely correct as it relates to doing this audit. As a former military intelligence officer for the United States Army, let's just take a look at the threats that we're facing right now that we need a very strong military to be able to battle against. We have China threatening to take control of Taiwan. We have Israel right now with a very, very flimsy ceasefire facing multiple fronts, with a war by proxy with Iran, with Hamas and Hezbollah. And of course, you have the Ukrainian war right now with Russia, where we have seen over 1 million people lose their lives as it relates to those fighting for Ukraine and Russia, to include civilians. And we also, of course, have the war that's going on right here in the United States of America with a wide open southern border that has recently been taken under control. We have fentanyl that's poured in the United States, and we've lost beautiful women like Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungary. So the American people and President Trump want a military force. They want every single dollar to be focused on fighting and winning our nation's wars and making sure that we have a military force that is fit to fight, that is ready, and that can be deployed air, land, sea, or space at all times around the world in order for us to exercise peace through strength. So every dollar must be focused not on DEI policies, not on policies that don't unify us, but on a policy that will have us be a united front, e pluribus unum, out of the many, one. Yep. That's where the focus should be, and that's where the dollars need to be also.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Colonel, economics podcaster Peter St. Onge shared news on former President Biden's revised job numbers. Listen to this.
Joe Biden's final job report is out, and it's a doozy, a veritable orgy of revisions, kicking off with a massive Bureau of Labor Statistics revision that wiped out 589,000 imaginary jobs the Biden administration had been propping up until the election.
Now, Colonel, in addition, 70% of jobs created were government positions paid for by taxpayers. The Wall Street Journal called these the welfare industrial complex. What would have happened to our economy if the Democrats had been voted back in here for another 4 years?
You know what, Mike? Actually, it's too traumatizing for me to even imagine if we had not won this election and allowed the Democrats to have another 4 years. When I sit back and think about how American people are struggling right now to put food on the table, keep their families cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and you have an out-of-control Biden administration that's actually using money to establish this welfare system of imaginary jobs that do not bring substance, only used to prop up their administration to make it look like they have this robust jobs picture. It is just absolutely infuriating. And I'm so pleased, and I thank God that we have President Trump in office working with Musk to make sure that we are properly accounting for our government workers in the most efficient, proficient way, which is what the American people deserve.
All I can say is it's about time. You can find out more about Vanessa Hicks Calloway at VanessaHicksCalloway.com. Colonel, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. Be blessed.
Thank you, you too.